Now, the transport sector has undergone many changes since the start of the national lockdown. Many companies have had to change the way that they operate in order to save costs. Lockdown has limited the transport options available to those working in the essential services sectors. Joining us to help us understand how this sector will be impacted during and after lockdown is Maphefo Anno-Frempong, who's CEO of the Transport Education Training Authority. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time. We saw that Gautrain resumed operations yesterday. We know that, on the other hand, airlines are still grounded. When it comes to the different transport sectors and how they're affected by COVID-19, what is the bigger picture looking like?
The picture is looking quite negative, especially if one looks at the aviation sector, except for the repatriation of South African citizens from other countries by SAA. Currently, the aviation sector is only reporting or transporting cargo, which is the only movement, and we see the greatest impact in the aviation sector. But not only the aviation sector, but if you look at the bus industry and the taxi industry, especially as it relates to cross-border and inter-provincial bus transportation and taxi operators that are operating long distances and inter-provincially, those are really quite affected badly. The sector that seems to really not be impacted as it is with the rest of the sector is the courier sector, because of the fact that there is delivery of essential services and even food items for those that prefer to use online shopping. At least that sector is not negatively impacted compared broadly with the rail sector, aviation sector, bus industry, and the taxi industry. One might say the taxi industry is maybe 70% operating at capacity locally, and is still impacted negatively by COVID-19. The industry that also has seen some low movement is road freight, the trucking industry, because they are no longer doing cross-border movement, especially for those that were moving between the borders of South Africa and other SADC countries. That is also affected negatively. So one might say transport is really feeling the pinch of this COVID-19 crisis.
Now, I suppose the COVID-19 crisis has allowed many sectors across the world really to introspect and think of a future after COVID-19. When it comes to the future of the transport sector and the new skill set that will be required after this time, what are some of the observations and trends that you're seeing?
What I see the COVID-19 has done, it has forced and disrupted the way in which we do things, even in skills development, to a point where we are forced to adapt to technology. I see the new skills that are really going to be in high demand being in pilot training for the operation of drones in order to distribute channels. But I see that almost every subsector is going to need to be adept with the use of technology, computers, working online, operating online, which really forces the following skill sets to be in place. Being able to be creative, being able to coordinate with others online, being able to really make quick decisions, being able to have a service orientation, even though you might not be meeting with the client there. So it brings about complex problem-solving skill sets that need to be embedded as part of online training.
And what sort of more intricate training will be required in the future within the sector?
We would definitely need to look at blended learning. We would have to look at how we can incorporate the use of computers and go online. We would need to make use of virtual realities. We would have to really make use of any form of computer computer technologies that are there, so that your normal skills development program would not only be delivered in face-to-face, but it would have to use some sort of online training and simulation as well. So I see a greater investment in ICT. I see that investment forcing us in the rural areas to see how best people that have no access to computers and data might have to be assisted. So that really forces us to invest greatly in ICT and even in data as an institution.
Now, the Transport Education Training Authority recently embarked on a partnership to provide entrepreneurship and an online program for entrepreneurs and small business operators. Just give us a sense of how this has been working.
Initially, when we did the partnership, COVID-19 crisis had not come onto us. It had not been an idea we had. So it was meant to be delivered in a normal traditional setting, face-to-face. And this was meant for small bus operators, for them to know how to comply with the regulations within public transport. And in order for this not to stop, when COVID-19 hit us, we then had to work with the service providers that are delivering the training to now do online training. So what they are doing is they are helping small bus operators to know how to comply with provincial authority standards in terms of public transport and road transport. They are also helping them with how to manage finances. They are also helping them with how to really manage cash flow and all compliance that is required in that sector. And all of this is being delivered online. The bus operators had to invest in using online training and adapt. So the lessons are done online, the exercises are done online. As far as possible, they are limiting interaction in the workplaces. And the practical training component part of it is done in the form of exercises that are also done online. So it has really shown us we can do online training and adapt.
As we move into the future of transport, what are some of the opportunities that are now available for entrepreneurs?
Well, I believe if you look at the transport sector and the fact that there's still a need to move essential goods and move even PPE in the long run, and also still move normal goods, I believe the taxi industry has an opportunity to now move into the space of providing delivery of cargo. I see that also being an opportunity for the small bus operators that traditionally would transport students to school. Now that schools are closed, I see them being able to take an opportunity to start transporting within their localities any movement of goods that need to be transported, maybe from the shops, maybe from provincial departments for food relief. So there is an opportunity for the sectors that traditionally were moving people to start moving goods. As it is, we are going to have to work differently going forward. And therefore, the small bus operators, especially the taxi industry, have an opportunity now to start working together and take opportunities that will come to transport goods as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Maphefo Anno-Frempong, CEO of the Transport Education Training Authority.